Good morning, guys. Welcome back to market analysis. Today, let's look at the metal index. So for the past 1 week, there is a hassle going on in the retailer's mind whether to book the profits, whether to accumulate the stocks. Because if you see from Jan month, market has broken the multi-year breakout at 4,000 levels and it started flying at currently at 5,200 levels in the month of short span, like 5 to 6 months. So there has been a confusion getting around. So before looking at the future, let's look at some of the basics to understand about the metal sector. So if we see, these are all the stocks included in the metal sector. The strong players, like the well-known players like Tata Steel, SAIL, Hindalco, NMDC, Jindal Steel, JSW Steel. As you all know, China is the largest producer of steel. And what happens now? China's own domestic consumption has exceeded the export levels. So they started importing the metals for themselves. So if you see, these are all the other countries who are all the strong players next to China. India is also a considerably very renowned player. So some of the basics, looking at metals, what is the difference? There are two types of metals, ferrous metals and non-ferrous metals. What is ferrous metals and what is non-ferrous metals? Let's look into that. So any amount of iron in its basic form is ferrous metals. Non-ferrous metal does not contain any amount of iron in it. These possess the magnetic property, and non-ferrous metals doesn't possess the magnetic property. And ferrous metals have high tensile strength, and non-ferrous metals have low tensile strength. So if you look into them, what are all the ferrous metals and non-ferrous metals? So this slide, the coming two slides, is to have an understanding of how these metals are working and what are all the raw materials used in this and what is they are used for, so that we can get an understanding of how big is this metals sector. So coming to carbon steel, the first one is carbon steel from ferrous metals. They are also known as structural steel. They are used in construction industry and in the tallest skyscrapers and the longest bridges. They are also used in shipping containers, industrial pipings, automobile, railroad tracks, and many commercial and domestic tools. Next one is the steel is made by, this is the process of how the steel is made. The steel is made by adding iron to carbon. So this happens by heating and melting iron ore in the furnaces. Then the steel is tapped from the furnaces and poured into molds to form steel bars. This steel is widely used in construction and manufacturing industries. So next comes the carbon steel. It has a higher carbon content in comparison to other types of steels and is used commonly in making of tools, drills, blades, tabs, and springs. Next is alloy steel. It incorporates such as chromium, nickel, and titanium to impart greater strength and durability without increasing the weight. Stainless steel is an important alloy steel made using the chromium. Alloy steels are used in construction, machine tools, and electrical components. Next comes the cast iron and wrought iron. Cast iron is also made up of iron, carbon, and silicon. Cast iron is brittle, hard, and resistant to wear. It is used for water pipes, machine tools, automobile engines, and stoves. Next is the wrought iron. It is an alloy with so little carbon content, it is not almost pure iron. So during the manufacturing process, some slag is added, which gives wrought iron excellent resistance to corrosion and oxidation. However, the hardness is less and the fatigue strength is also less. It is used for fencing, railing, agricultural implements, nails, barbed wire, chains, and various ornaments. So these are all the ferrous metals and its uses. So now you can understand the raw materials used in this. So the next comes is the non-ferrous metals. So they are higher resistance to rust and corrosion. which is ideal for gutters, liquid pipes, roofing, outdoor signs. They are non-magnetic, which is more important for many electronic and wiring applications. The first one is aluminium, second one is copper, lead, zinc, and tin. Aluminium is lightweight, soft, and low strength. It is easily cast, forged, machined, and welded. It is not suitable for higher temperature environments because it is lightweight. It's a good choice for manufacturing aircraft and food cans. Aluminium is also used in castings, pistons, railways, cars, and kitchen utensils. Next one is the copper. So it is principally used in the electrical industry in the form of wire and other conductors. It is also used in sheet roofing, cartridge cases, statues, bearings to make brass, an alloy of copper and zinc. So it comes to lead is a soft, heavy malleable metal with a low melting point and low tensile strength. It can withstand corrosion from moisture. It is used in electrical power cables, batteries, building constructions, and soldering. So coming to zinc, zinc is a medium low strength metal with a very low melting point. So it is mostly used in galvanizing the process of applying a protective zinc coating to iron or steel to prevent the rust. So next, the last is the tin. It's a very soft and malleable ductile with a low tensile strength. It is used to make tin cans to hold food. So if you see currently now they are using these aluminum foils, which has replaced this tin, tin foils. So these are the various uses of ferrous metals and non-ferrous metals. So now you have a basic understanding how big this metals sector is. And see, it is depending on various sources. Various other sectors are dependent on this. So let's look what is the major players, strong players in India. That too with the captive iron ores. Captive iron ores means they have their own reserves. They have their own iron where they produce this iron ores. So the first one is NMDC. Second one is JSPL, SAIL, Tata Steel, and Godavari. So all these have the captive iron ores with a good reserves as of now, at least till 2030. So, so after that, see they are the big players. They are serving for years. Tata Steel, if you see, they are serving for more than 100 years. They know how to bring on their new iron ores, how to make their products, how to acquire the iron ore minings. So let's look at uh, these players balance sheet. So basically I am showing this balance sheet to understand about their asset value, assets, what about the borrowings, what is a debit. So these are the key sections I wanted to show you. But apart from this, there is a huge demand in the metal sector. If you come to the supply demand, the demand is very huge. So these are all a simple, like Excel sheet, which can show you. But apart from this, the business is huge. So if you see the Steel and the Steel Authority of India, which is SAIL, so look at their equity share capital, which is consistently year on year, their reserves increasing, borrowings, look at their investments, look at their other assets, see the debit. So these companies, these strong companies are, like their borrowings and their investments. So the debits, if you look at all that, they are being consistently, like investing in the R&D part and the future expansions, future acquisitions, minings part, all this they are doing. So this is just a basic understanding. This doesn't have anything to play with the business, but the strong players I'm showing you. So this is for SAIL. The next one is NMDC. Look at this guys. Look at their reserves. Year on year it is increasing. In between they had nil borrowings and all. Now they have, but that doesn't matter. So the capital work in progress. Look at their other assets, debits, return on equity. So if you see before 2000, 20, close to the pandemic time, these sectors were being hit almost a huge. So now the picture has completely changed. So the demand is very huge. So this is Tata Steel. Look at guys, I don't want to say anything about Tata Steel. 100 years of company and they have their own, I mean like own show off. Look at their reserves. See, investments, capital work in progress, debits. So these are the companies, even if they have the debits, they know how to fix their issues. They will come out of that. They are the survivors in in multiple cyclical factors. I mean like multiple cyclical uh, year on years. So Godavari, if you look at this, see guys, their reserves. So these are all basically a very good company with a good balance sheet. So what is happening now? So if you see last month, we saw some of the raw materials included in that, which are being used. So the raw material cost in this month, I mean like in May month, it has considerably increased. So if we compare to the US INR, I mean like prices, it is still less than the other countries. So if you see HRC and CRC, which is hot rolled coil, has been increased from 4,000 rupees to 67,000 per ton, hardly about $9,900, where US is about around about $1,500. Still we have $600, a huge gap. So even if the raw materials are increased, still the demand is huge because of the pricing factor between India and the other countries. So that is the slight advantage India has. So it doesn't mean that we are already on sky roof and we are going to fall. This is, I mean, like highly evaluated. So we have the demand for that, but raw materials, we have to look into that. What is the supply? We will look next. So we have a very good future. So see guys, the only NMDC hiked the prices of lump ore from 700 to 7,650 per ton. The prices of vehicles, consumer goods, and construction costs are bound to be impacted by the rise in steel prices. But if you see on the supply chain, there is a mild gap between supply and the demand. Suddenly there is a, if you take anything like copper, and if you take steel, so everything, iron ores, steel, corn, coffee, wheat, soybean, suddenly if you see there is a shortage on it. So this supply disruption is due to the, I mean like a continued calamity or pandemic, maybe because of that. But what is the one thing to worry is like this will create the inflation, because every I mean like the corporates are buying and hoarding and pushing the supply chains to bring of seizing up. So there is a shortage in transportation. I mean like shortages, transportation bottlenecks, and price spikes are nearing the highest levels in the recent. So this will stoke to inflation. So that is the only worry. But again, this if you look at this raw materials cost. I mean like the cost is increased in this iron ore, coals. These are all having huge demands, and the other sectors which is dependent on this will be always relying on this uh, metal sectors. So there may be a consolidation happening. I think there is some technical retracement levels also. So it is close to that levels and it is struggling on that. But since the supply demand disruption is there, maybe that is also one reason. Now the prices are a bit consolidating on that area. Apart from that, China has made a statement that I mean, like they had warned their domestic metal companies for any unreasonable prices should be brought in control. So that is created a sentiment, like a negative sentiment, which had made a dent on the metal sectors. But this is only for temporary. What we are expecting on a longer time frame, there is a huge demand is there. The supply disruption is due to the various calamities, shortages. So everything will, we are expecting things to get okay once the pandemic is over. So we can wait for a quite few days, but nothing to stop from the long-term investors to start accumulating the stocks, because the price valuation comparing to the other countries, other the world others indices on the commodity metal commodity, and now on India is very less. So this is going to be a huge multi-bagger in the future. So that's what is the outlook for the future. So please do your own studies on this. So if you have any comments on this, please post on that. Let's all learn together and let's grow. If you found this information is helpful and useful, please like and subscribe and hit the bell button. Thanks guys. Have a great weekend.